So Clouds is this new Disney Plus original movie, and this movie is based on a true story about Zach Sobiek, a young, a young teenager who has a bad rare cancer. So he decided to become a musician, and he has like few months to live, and this is what the movie is basically about. So I heard so many when I first saw the trailer for this movie. When I heard this was based on a true story, this also happened in real life because I actually watched a documentary about Zach Sobiak of how he was dealing with cancer. Um, so when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I was just like, when I heard this was based on a true story, when I first saw the trailer, I was just like, oh, this movie looks familiar. I think I'm gonna watch this. So when I first saw this movie, this was a great movie. This movie comes from the director of 5 Feet Apart, the movie that I didn't like all that much. But with this movie does what it's supposed to do is because the movie does understand. So what the director actually did was all like, yeah, I think I did something wrong with 5 Feet Apart. So from now on, I'm gonna do better. So from now on, I'm gonna do a Disney Plus movie about. I'm gonna do a Disney Plus movie based on a true story. So that's what he actually did. He did a movie about this. Um, so this movie is basically about Zach Zobiak. So like I said, he had to deal with a bad rare cancer, and this also happened in real life of how he end up and how or why did he end up having cancer. And I did feel really bad for him because I actually watched a documentary on YouTube about it, and I think this documentary is called um my my last days or something. So when I first saw the documentary about it, I felt really bad. I mean, it's really emotional. This movie is so what the director of 5 Feet Apart did is understand what the audience needs to be seeing in this movie and understand what the story is basically about. So this movie is based on a true story about Zach Sobiak, who's played by Finn Argus. And I gotta say, um, so we have we have a couple of cast. So we have the cast for this movie. We have Finn Argus, Sabrina Carpenter, Madison Iserman, Nev Campbell, and Little Rao himself. So that's the cast for this movie, and the casting in this movie is terrific. I love the casting, I love the acting, I love the performances, I love the drama, I love the story of what the movie should understand what's going on, and you can actually tell what's going on in this movie. So I enjoyed this movie. The best part of the movie is Finn Argus as Zach Sobiak. This guy is great. I'm glad they actually picked him as the main character, as the main character for this movie. He's so emotional. He gives an excellent performance. Yeah, he's so emotional. He's so emotional. He does what he's supposed to do. He does he doesn't act like his actual self, like be a goofball all of a sudden. He actually does act like the character of Zach Sobiak. So yeah, so we have Sabrina Carpenter, who's actually really good in the movie. Um, so the last time Sabrina Carpenter was in Disney was Girl Meets World. So that was a Disney Channel show. So I was like, so Sabrina Carpenter, the last time we seen you on Disney was Girl Meets World. That was on Disney Channel. So Sabrina Carpenter is back for like another. I guess Sabrina Carpenter decided to go back for Disney and decided to be in a Disney movie. So I'm surprised Sabrina Carpenter is really good in the movie, including Nev Campbell, who's also really good as the mom, and we have the girlfriend who's played by Madison Iserman, who's also really good in the movie. We have Little Rar, who's also really good as the teacher in the film. Everybody is really good in this movie. You don't see them like take over the whole movie from Zach Sobiak. They know this movie's all about Finn Argus' performance as Zach Sobiak. So what I enjoy about this movie's also based on a memoir. It says fly a little higher, how God answered a how God what does it say? So I actually wrote this down just in case. It says So this is based off a memoir by Laura Sobiak. It says, "Fly a little higher." How God answered a mom's smaller prayer in a big way. And so yeah, that's the only thing I know. So that's what that, and I was like, so that looks like a the mom's Laura Sobiak's it is based off a memoir about that. So what I enjoy about this movie, so the movie, I love the story of this movie about Zach Sobiak's life, of how had to deal with cancer, of how he has a great friendship. So the char- so his character in the movie is so his character in the movie is a fun, he's a fun character. He's a fun dude that you want to actually hang out with and spend time with and actually um yeah, something like that. And he has a great relationship with his family, his parents. Yeah, because his parents were struggling of how they have to deal with this as well. Um, about their son dying, and I do feel really bad about it. This movie is a very serious movie. It's very serious. I'm because if you do have Disney Plus, actually, I was gonna say I have Disney Plus. I just downloaded Disney Plus a few days ago, I believe, and I started watching a couple of movies. And this is the movie I've been looking forward to seeing when I first saw the trailer. I said I've been wanting to see this movie for so long when I first saw the trailer. So when I first saw the trailer for this movie, when I first saw the trailer, I was just like, "Oh yeah, this movie's based on a true story. I actually do want to see this movie if I have Disney Plus right now." So I have Disney Plus. I watched it. It was a great movie, and I heard so many positive reviews of how great this movie is. Because this movie actually understands of how Zach has gone through a really terrible rare cancer because his cancer is terminal. And him and his best friend Sammy, we have Sammy who's played by Sabrina Carpenter. Him and his best, so we have the best we so him and his best friend Sammy have wrote and sung a song called Clouds, and they actually put it on um is the number is the song Clouds is like the number one chart on iTunes, I believe. And he has a great relationship with his friends. And this movie does remind me of The Fault in Our Stars, because that movie is basically about, with The Fault in Our Stars, that movie is basically about this movie. So with The Fault in Our Stars, that movie is basically about two two couple, yeah, boyfriend and girlfriend, who also both have cancer, and why they have, and also how, and also why did they have to deal with it. And with this movie is about a teenager in high school who has to deal with this bad rare cancer. And why he has to go through it. So because his cancer has spread like probably all over inside of his body, and he has a few months to live. And his family in this movie, the family in this movie is really good. I know I'm so the family who. So you have the actors who plays the family in this movie are terrific, and they give excellent performances as well. And I actually had so much fun with this movie. Well, not really fun. It's really sad. Um, so if you have Disney Plus, you gotta watch this movie. It's really, I understand it's a really sad movie. It's a very serious movie. I actually took this movie very seriously and trying to understand what's going on. So this movie actually did educate me trying to understand what's going on. This movie doesn't act like a Disney movie, even though it is a Disney Plus movie. This movie. So with the best part of the movie, so the greatest thing I enjoy about the movie, this Disney movie doesn't act like a real Disney rated PG movie. This movie is a PG-13 rating that kids are not gonna be able to watch and understand. But no offense, but teenagers and adults are. I bet teenagers and adults who have Disney Plus are gonna watch this movie, and also I know they're gonna cry and tear up the entire movie, because I understand it's really sad and very serious. and this movie. So this movie doesn't act like a Disney movie. So that's the best part of the movie. So the best part of the movie doesn't act like a Disney biography, rated PG movie like McFarlane USA or Queen of Cotway. Those are biography movies. It doesn't act like one of those rated PG DVD biography movies or anything. It doesn't act like a Lifetime movie. It doesn't act like a Hallmark movie. It acts like what this movie acts like. You're watching a real, true story and a true event about a young teenager who has to go through who has to go through a bad rare cancer, and in every and so the movie is basically people who are out there who has gone through the same problems, or so the people who has gone through so some people who has cancer are gonna watch this movie and understand what's going on, how Zach Sobiak has gone through a lot of trouble and gone through a lot of bad things about his cancer diagnosis. And when I first saw this movie, I felt really bad for him, and this actually happened in real life as well. So I'm glad they actually picked the actors for this movie. The actors in this movie, like I said, they're really good in this movie. Everybody is terrific in this movie, and I'm glad the director did really good. Did way better with this movie than he did with 5 Feet Apart. And 5 Feet Apart wasn't really my favorite movie. That wasn't really my favorite at all. And with this movie he actually did. So I was a little bit concerned what this director can actually do. So I think the director probably decided to watch a couple of probably decided to watch a documentary about Zach Sobiak and put it and put it as a movie that's based on a true story, and directed and made the directing right. And I love the story of this movie, and I love the story of how I can actually, and what a lot of people can actually understand what's going on about Zach Sobiak's life. And I actually did listen to the soundtrack called Clouds. So sometimes I forget the song when I'm not listening to it. So when I was listening to the song on YouTube, I had to replay it 3 times. So I replayed it 3 times because I actually love the song, and also they actually sung the song in this movie as well. And I love the music in this movie. I love the music and the singing in this movie. So I love the friendships and the relationships, and this movie doesn't act like a really terrible movie. It doesn't act like one of those movies that you just don't understand what's going on. It doesn't. It feels like a real life biography movie that you can actually understand what's going on. So that's all I gotta say for this Disney Plus movie review for Clouds. And yes, I did watch this movie. It was a great movie. This is by far one of the best Disney Plus original movies I watched this year, and I have so much fun enjoying this movie, even though it's really sad. So that's all I gotta say for this movie review for Clouds. So hopefully, if you guys have Disney Plus, watch the movie Clouds. So that's all I gotta say for this movie review for Clouds. And even though this is my first time reviewing a Disney Plus movie, for the very first time, so I'm really happy that I actually got a chance to review this movie. I was so happy that I watched this movie and reviewed this movie, but I did feel really bad about what happened in the movie. So that's all I gotta say for this movie review for Clouds. So be sure to like, subscribe, post notification button, follow me on Instagram, comment down below, and I'll see you on my next video. Thank you for watching.